How you guys doing? Good to talk to you. I'll be monitoring the chat while I work. I've decided I'm going to go ahead and Twitch stream the entire process of doing the comic book. So, welcome aboard. I hope you enjoy. I'm going to be doing my sketches. You see here, there's some of my artwork that's already on. It's on display there in a slideshow above my base camp. After losing my career to the COOF in 2021, I decided to bet on myself, invest a little money, get a computer that was worth doing video editing on, and start developing my passions here on YouTube. Started this channel back in 2008, and now you'll be able to see me stream weekly on Sketching the Privateer, a show where I show you the development of my comic book that's been in the works for 20 years. The Brothers Hack the Matrix, an everyman talk show developed with myself and my brother Highlander over conversations we had during his commute home. And Papa Joe Gamer up way too late. An older gentleman trying to stay up on his nights off, playing some video games, having a few cocktails and a few fails. I hope you guys enjoy the channel, and until I see you again, keep on keeping on. I'm muted. It would help if you could hear me. See, I'm just boomering.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Dead air. Dead air. What the fuck, man?
I'm just boomering it all up tonight, man. What you want out of me, dude? Play guitar.
The intro was kick ass, bro, for sure.
Well, I was trying to make it look cool, but man, I'm just messing it up. I'm muting everything. I'm trying not to get that echo. If you do this wrong, you're gonna end up getting an echo. So anyway, yes, this is my younger brother. That is my co-host for the Brothers Hack the Matrix. You watch every Thursday. And also we got backstage tonight a gentleman that you guys know from my time with Gary on Pop Culture Minefield. A couple of them actually are back here. First one I want to bring in is Martin. How you doing, Mr. Acosta?
Hey.
What's going on?
I'm doing well. Thank you for the invitation.
Oh man, I invited all my friends. I hope some more of them show up. But it's good to see you, man. I'm sorry you haven't seen me as much as usual, but I'm busy doing sign work right now. So every minute I got, I'm over there doing that. But it's great that you're here. I appreciate you coming. Another guy from Pop Culture Minefield, Das Wolfen, is with us tonight. How you doing, Big Daddy?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good. How's everybody doing tonight?
Welcome,
Great,
brother.
man.
Welcome.
Great.
Hey, I know this
How's
Am I
guy.
the
your
only one that's partaking in the libations tonight? Is that
You may be
what-
the only one, man.
Apparently,
Yeah,
but I may catch
yeah.
up.
but it's okay. It's okay. If I did, I'd be having something if I didn't have to, work here. When I'm done with the show, I'm going to eat something. And then I'm going over there. I got to do a little bit more night work over there. I've got to get some more of the sign done at night when I've got low light. So,
You said you
anyway.
had some pics later on of progress pics?
Yeah, I'll upload it here in a second, and I've got it on my phone. I'll just upload it real quick, and we'll put it up, and we'll show you guys what I've been doing. And last but not least, so far we may see more people later on, but we got my man Matt, who's usually on this show with me from Small Time Republic. How you doing, man?
Hey there, doing good. How about you guys?
Doing
Hey,
fantastic.
man. How you doing, brother?
Doing well.
He tends to show up for State of the Atmosphere on Wednesdays. And I met him on Wes's channel. I hang out in the chat on Wes's channel quite a bit. As a matter of fact, I don't know if I told you or not, but Wes was on my 100th subscriber celebration show. He showed up for that one. But anyway, it's good to see you guys. Hope you're doing well. I had a couple of things I wanted to show everybody tonight about my channel. Of course, that what you saw at the beginning was my first trailer I made for the channel, and I always thought that my favorite Arnold movie was Total Recall. And I thought, with my name being Atmosfere, I thought that would be a cool lead-in, having the mountain blowing up and having my shows popping out of it and stuff,
Yeah.
So I
Very
thought that
cool.
was a cool way to do it.
Yeah, you did a really good job, man. It's very professional. I'm very impressed. So cheers.
I appreciate it. Yeah. What's funny is I was teaching Martin some stuff the other day about StreamYard, and I was telling him, he was amazed at some of the, like our faces being on movie stars and movies and stuff. And I was like, man, I do all that stuff with my phone. It's
Yeah.
amazing how much video production you can do on your phone.
Absolutely.
The thing that I put up as credits every week, guys, that little ad I have for the Brothers Hack the Matrix, me and Danny's show, I made that completely with iMovie and Reface, and it's two phone apps, That's kind of scary that somebody can actually, throw their face on somebody else just through their phone. You know what I mean?
Well, you kind of have to have an Apple to do that, so that leaves me out.
No, you can do it on Android too.
Yeah, I was fixing to say it may not be Reface. Reface is Apple exclusive, but they have apps that do the same thing.
No. Reface is on Android.
Is it? Is it on
Yeah.
Android? Okay,
Cool.
There you go. Yeah. What is it? Is it in the Google Play Store?
Yep.
Okay, there you go. But
Yeah, man. Gone are the days of the big cinema camera and all that bulky stuff. You can do so many creative things on these Androids, Apples. I mean, people can really, like you guys are doing, can make yourself known through this technology that everybody can have, man. So it's pretty cool.
I think it's great, man. Ever since I got into this YouTube and thing, man, I barely watch regular TV. The matter of fact, the only reason I watch regular TV now is so that I can review it, really. Let's see. And I've still got, by the way, one of the shows that me and Matt have been watching a lot is Andor, and I've still got to see the finale. I've been working so much on that sign that I still haven't seen the finale. I watched one of the episodes last night when I was eating. Episode 7, I guess.
Was
the one
today the finale?
No.
Well, today episode 9 came
Oh,
out.
it hasn't been. It's not over yet.
Yes, we still
okay,
got-
I thought it
we
was
still got
done.
3 more. So I think 3 weeks before it's done.
Okay.
Yeah, the last episode's the 23rd. They have 12-ish episodes of Andor.
Well, let's see who's in the chat tonight. Yeah, I'm glad to know that I'm not completely out of the loop on it then. I'm liking it, guys, but you know, they've set such a low bar with Star Wars on Disney Plus. That's not saying much, you know, but I'm enjoying it. But it's definitely the best thing they've made so far. Let's see. Teresa Alexander says congrats on 200. It's good to see you, Teresa. Anima Confusa, how you doing, darling? It's good to see you. Is she in the thread? I can't remember if I put her in the thread or not. She says, "Hey nerds." She said, "Taking a break to stop by and say hi and congrats." Thank you, darling. Appreciate it. Das Wolfen's communicating with her in there, and Martin's talking to her. Okay, I just want to make sure I get everybody in the chat. All right. But anyway, yeah, Andor, I've enjoyed. Matt and I were talking about it not too long ago on State of the Atmosphere. I'm enjoying that one. As far as stuff that's coming out on streaming services, I'd have to say in the last year that Amazon Prime is really doing better than any of them. And it's simply because they put out Reacher and the Terminal List. I think those are the two best things that these streaming services have put out. What do you guys think?
Well, they've also got The Boys.
The Boys
the boys. Yeah, Danny's a bigger fan of the Boys than I am.
Yeah,
I like my heroes with a little bit morality to it and stuff. And the hardcore craziness. He loves that shit.
Well, I do too. My favorite hero is Captain America.
Yeah.
So I mean, and I prefer the 4-color golden age and early silver age to the the more modern stuff, but that doesn't mean I can't enjoy The Boys for what it is.
Mm-hmm.
For what it is, yeah.
It's cool. It's cool.
It's a cool take on superhero villain, you know, that dynamic because in The Boys, the superheroes are the corporate assholes, basically, and then you know, the boys.
They're the bad guys.
That, but they have their own
problems
with morality, you know. So it's pretty good. It's good for today's world, you know. So it's pretty good.
Anima says, "Love The Boys. That show brought me to Prime Culture Minefield." Okay, very cool. Very cool. What's Martin talking about? Just be aware how you write down the notes. Oh, okay. They're talking about something else. Okay. Yeah. I really enjoyed Reacher because, I haven't read the books, but I saw the Tom Cruise movie and loved it. I thought it was fantastic. Of course, I was a military policeman, so to have a main character that's an MP is really cool to me. And I heard a lot of people that were fans of that book were kind of upset whenever Tom Cruise ended up playing him because he's such a shrimp. And
putting it lightly there. So
right. Well, this I can tell you as a fact, guys. Most of the guys I served with in the MP Corps are over 6 feet tall and 200 pounds. I mean, they recruit for the MP Corps like the state troopers recruit. You know what I mean? They want big fellas. The only reason why my little 5'11", 125-pound stick man ass got in there was because of my ASVAB scores. I blew that thing away. So I was able to sign up as anything I wanted to be, you know. We joined under the college fund program, a bunch of us, when I graduated, and they matched dollar for dollar everything you put in, plus they gave you a bonus for how many years you signed up. Basically, I had 40 G's to go to school on when I left after 3 years. Man. So yeah, it was a fantastic deal. It kind of ticked off the people Danny and I went to school with, because we were in an Air Force ROTC unit, and we all, like 8 of us, joined the Army. They were mad at us, man. You know what I mean? And Danny ended up joining the Air Force. And what'd you do? 9, Daniel, before you got out?
Yep. 9 years.
9?
Yep.
Yeah. I ended up doing 3. Yeah.
Hey, it was the best time of my life. I mean, I have nothing but good things to say about the military experience for me. It was great.
Yeah. I was actually thinking about doing, I was doing it for college fund money, but I was actually thinking about doing a career until they sent me to Johnson Island. And that soured me on the whole deal. That was like MASH, guys. I was on an island that was 2 miles long, half a mile wide. surrounded by water, 750 miles southwest of Hawaii, guarding chemical and biological weapons for a year.
One thing I'd like to say to both you guys is thank you for your service.
Oh, yeah. Hey.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. It's a long line of history in our family.
I was to say it's a family business, man. Yeah.
So,
I'm named after a guy that served with Patton at the Battle of the Bulge. He was part of the Greatest Generation. And my father was he was in both the services Danny and I served in. When I was born, he was at Fort Polk, Louisiana, sending kids to Vietnam as a drill sergeant. And when Danny was born, he had already switched services to the Air Force and was at Keesler. That pretty close to you, bud. Matt. He was down in Biloxi. That's where he was born at.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, about an hour away. Yep.
Yeah. Matt's around the Mobile area. That's where he's at.
As far as thanking you for your service, it made me think of when I said that this past weekend I went to the Kennedy Space Center.
Mm-hmm.
They have a museum there at Cape Canaveral, and I was in line for one of the exhibits, and there was a couple guys behind me. They were older guys, and one had on had the U.S. Navy veteran hat on, the blue hat with the white font. And when I thanked them for their service, it was like, I could tell it brightened their day. You can visually tell that people appreciate hearing, whether they've heard it, whether it's the first time they've heard it or whether they've heard it 1,000 times. It seems to make a difference. So as somebody that didn't serve, the least I can do is thank those that did.
Well, just the fact that you have respect for the military is a big, huge deal to all of us. Trust me, because there are several out there that don't. They think we're a bunch of warmongers and stuff, and that's not what it's about. Anybody, who was that had that famous quote? Was it MacArthur? Was he the one that had the one that said that the soldier more than anyone prays for peace because he alone has to bear the scars and wounds of war? Yeah, something like that. I can't remember. I'm paraphrasing, but I think it was MacArthur said that. I'm not sure. I'd have to look it up, but it's a famous quote.
He also had the great quote, the "I shall return" quote.
Yeah, well, that one everybody knows that one. Yeah. But
I'm like you, man. If I see one of those guys that's wearing one of those hats, man, and they usually represent whatever war generation. I always thank them for their service, man, because it's important. And it seems to be, I don't know. I'm just getting older, so it seems like it's getting to be a forgotten thing. But those guys and girls, it means a lot, right? When somebody does recognize them, and I know I make sure that I recognize those guys and girls when I see them out in public. So.
Yeah, Danny and I, if you hadn't figured out, guys, we enjoy each other's company, but we're a night and day. That guy's a motorcycle rider. He's a rebel without a cause. A guitar player. I'm an artist. It's a little different, but love him to death. I couldn't pick a better sibling to have. He has always been supportive of everything I do, and I love him to death. And really glad that we both got to get in the family business. And when we say family business, I mean, like I said, everybody with my name has been in the military. On my mother's side, my God, all three of her brothers, two of her sisters. It's a long military.
Yeah, it's a long line. For sure.
Long line.
It's gladly done. Cool. Just real quick, our house on this street is the only house that flies the American flag, which back when we were younger, that was not
every
the case.
house. Yeah.
Now it's rare to see that, so it's weird, strange days we're living in.
It's very strange. Well,
love you, bro. Thank you for the kind words and appreciate that. So
no problem. You've heard me say 50 times, Daniel, we're living in a bad science fiction movie. We are. It's the weirdest thing in the world to me. It's like, Democrats have become right wingers all of a sudden, and it's just really strange, man. Everything's flipped sides. But that's what his show with me is all about. We look at these headlines and just have to laugh at half of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you gotta throw some humor at it, because it can be overwhelming, you know. So, but
if you don't laugh, you'll cry.
That's it. That's it. Yeah. We got the midterms coming up. That's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to the shows they're going to have. Now, I'm trying to remember. Wes is doing a show, isn't he, Matt? I think he's doing a show election night.
I'm not sure. Well, I know he's.
Or is he going to be on? Is he going to be on Yelling at Parked Cars that night?
I don't know. I know he's doing his regular show tonight. I don't know about
he may be with
if he's going to do
comics.
Normally comics does a show Monday and Thursday.
Mm-hmm. So, but I think they're doing an election night show. I think they are.
I'm thinking about live streaming election night results myself.
I believe Supreme Heretic is going to be doing a show Tuesday.
Drew, I figured he would. Yeah, for sure. What's the name of his show? I know his handle's Supreme Heretic, but he's got a show.
United Resistance.
United Resistance. Why can I never remember that name? I don't understand that. I never can remember that name. But anyway, I started this channel actually a long time ago, fellas. Where is this? What date? 6 years ago this video was put up, but I think I have a few that are older. But the video that I have with the most views, this is going to crack you guys up. I don't know if you've ever looked at this, and I'm just going to play it in the background with no sound because you don't really need to. But it's Cara Zor-El versus She-Hulk from WWE 2K16. This is my oldest video. This thing here. Why did it disappear? What happened?
It minimized.
Oh, okay.
You can maximize
the wrong thing.
Right. There's a particular button that is easy to hit that does that.
Yeah, I hit the wrong one. Okay, but anyway, I love this game. I used to get it. I used to pay. Now look, this game. I used to get it every year. This is 2016. I started getting it in 2015, and it's just like every other video game. It doesn't like Cars, right? They have it the year before, right? So this game came out in actually 2017. Or no, 2015 this game came out. So that's 6 years ago, this thing right here. But I had a version of this before that, and I would sit there, and my friends all knew as soon as I got this game, you're not going to talk to me for a week, because I would set up the entire universe. I would create characters like this, right? Because I created that chick. I created this chick too, She-Hulk, and she's like 7 feet tall. She's huge compared to this chick, man. But anyway, and I've been a fan of She-Hulk forever, but and Supergirl. But I got it every year, and I would spend $100 because I played a lot of games, so I'd get the season pass, so I didn't have to play to unlock everything. You know what I mean? Yeah. And when 2020 came out, or excuse me, the 2020 version came out, I've laid down that $100 again, right? And for about the 6th time, right? And sure enough, man, they messed it up so bad that I've played that game maybe an hour, and I spent $100 to play it. But it taught me something. I was like, okay, look, I'm not buying these games brand new anymore. The other one that's done it to me is another one of my favorites is Madden. I don't know if you got any of you play Madden, but they just keep pumping out the same damn game every year, and there's nothing new about it.
And sometimes previous years will be better than whatever the current year is, depending on the year. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I've still got Madden 22.
Do you? Yeah. That's the one I'm playing, and I didn't buy it until it was like $20. I just bought it, like, I want to say a few months ago. I'm not buying these things brand. WWE 2K20. Hang on a second. I've got it right here. And what sucks about it is you stop. Dead air. Shush up. The thing that sucks about it, guys, is this. Let me tell you what sucks about this. The two people on the cover are my favorite wrestlers in the WWE for both the sexes. Roman Reigns and friggin' Becky Lynch. I love them both. And this game is so bad because apparently they fired their development people halfway through it. And the guys that took over didn't know how to finish their coding or some shit like that. And it came out so bad. I mean, you want to see some funny videos, just look up glitch WWE 2K20. And you will find all kinds of crazy shit, man. It is nuts.
Oh, I raise you Mass Effect Andromeda on that.
Really? Okay.
Oh yeah.
All right. I actually got Mass Effect to start playing it for Xbox 360. I think is what I got it for.
Martin, WWE 2K20 is worse than Mass Effect Andromeda.
I'm telling you, it's unplayable, bro. It really is. And and look, from day one, it was unplayable. And they have, I don't know, have they fixed it since, John? They've had tons of updates to it, but.
Yeah, I think they did what they could, and now they've gone on to 2K22.
Yeah, I'm playing 2K22 now. But my favorite's 19, the one right before 20. That's my favorite one. And I was a platinum creator on that one. I've got so much stuff, so much content on there. You can get stadiums. Mid-South Wrestling is one of them, Dan. I recreated Mid-South Wrestling, and I got, I've created. I tend not to create too many wrestlers because some of these guys are really talented. All you have to do is download them because they'll have them. They're on there. But man, I made all kinds of stuff to play with. It's just a lot of fun to me. Let's see. Christian says, congrats, Joe. Hey, boys. All right. It's good to see you, man. So I'm getting back-to-back brothers. Wow. I'm getting a lotto ticket.
Hey, if you win, share that 1.2 billion with me.
Right? Come on, bro. Yeah,
I think it's what, like maybe the fourth biggest ever. I mean, it's somewhere up there really high.
Is it? We talking the Powerball?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's like
not the Mega Millions, but the Powerball. Okay, I might have to go pick one up then. I can do that. See,
By the way, your
wife can't do that, but I can do that.
Yeah,
because I don't do it all the time.
There were some studs back in Mid-South.
Yes, there were.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah. Yes, there were. We had the Junkyard Dog. We had Coco Beware. We had friggin' Hacksaw Jim Duggan before anybody knew who he was. Yep, we had Dr. Death Steve Williams, who locally is a big name around here. Dr. Death was a hoss, man. He died a few years back. Danny, he's from Blanchard.
I used to see him up at the gym when there was a gym on Airline Drive me and Dwayne used to go to, and he used to go up there.
Yeah.
You see him up there. Yeah, Mid-South was what we were raised on, Of course, Four Horsemen, Ric Flair, and all those guys, Ole and Arn Anderson, the Minnesota Wrecking Crew, and Tully Blanchard. Yeah, that's some
Tully Blanchard
right there.
You know what sucks? I'm a huge fan of his daughter, man, Tessa Blanchard. I'm a huge fan of hers. It's too bad she's gotten such a bad rap, man. But from what I hear, it's self-created. It's self-created.
Well, yeah, Tully Blanchard, once he walked away from the business, he walked away.
Yeah.
Like I don't ever recall seeing him, as doing any kind of guest appearances or anything at any at least any TV tapings over the years.
Yeah.
Whether it be WCW, WBF. Seems like once he quit wrestling, that was
he's back now and he's managing. And
he is back. Okay.
Yeah, he's in AEW, but yes,
okay.
he's half the man he was, bro. I mean, he's an old man.
Aren't we all?
Well, of course. But yeah, man. Tully's back. He's managing, and he manages nothing but bad guys. He manages. John, do you keep up with AEW?
No, I've been out of wrestling for a while. I keep meaning to get back into it, and I'm like, I can't really find a good point to dip in. So
yeah. If Dork Knight ever gets off his butt and gets this show going, I will fill you in on everything that's going on. But I will tell you, I don't watch every show, but if you want to keep up on it, subscribe to Wrestle Talk. It's some British guys that follow it that are really entertaining. They're fun to watch, and they do reviews of the shows and stuff like that. And it's I have my morning coffee, and the first video I put on every day is Wrestle Talk. And they do about a 10-minute video every day with wrestling news. and they're really good. If you want to get caught up quick, that's the way to go right there. Of course, I love Danny Alvarez with Wrestling Observer Live too. I love him too. Yeah, I know, guys. I'm a wrestling nerd. I just, I'm ate up with it. Yeah,
I think people that aren't even really
No.
that aren't even really big wrestling fans can enjoy some of those like shoot interviews where people talk about, different stories
Matt,
from back in the 80s.
You mean talking like this?
To be the man, you gotta beat the man.
Woo! Best interview. The guy just brought it all the time, man.
I didn't mean to interrupt you. What were you saying, Matt? Go ahead.
No, I was just saying that I think anybody that's not a big wrestling fan can enjoy those shoot interviews where they talk about stories from the road back in like the 80s. It's just it's great storytelling.
Yeah, it is.
To come up with.
I've said this several times to people. Even if you're not, a wrestling fan, when it's done correctly, wrestling is one of the best storytelling art forms there is. When it's done correctly, it is. But it's like comic books. It's all good versus evil. That's all it is. You've got a heel, which is a bad guy, and a baby face, which is the good guy, right? And and what's funny, what's really great is what's going on with Roman Reigns right now. If you guys don't know, they made Roman Reigns a bad guy, and people were booing him when he left the Shield because he was Vince was shoving him down everybody's throat. They were trying to make him the main guy as a good guy, and it just wasn't working out. They weren't buying it, and they were all, up in arms about it. They booed him every time. I watched a Raw episode one night where he got booed for 8 minutes straight. And I was like, man, you've got to do something about this. During COVID, though, they made him the head of the table. They had the Usos, his cousins, be his thugs, and he is the best thing in wrestling right now, man. He is the best, and he's just a bad guy. You know what I mean? He's got all the belts. It's fantastic what they've done with him. But I think it was way too late. They should have done it way earlier than they did.
Maybe the problem at the beginning was I don't know that his push matched his charisma level. Like I think he needed to have a little better mic skills, a little
bit more seasoning. I feel you. Yes,
than what he had to begin with. But he played for Georgia Tech, played defensive line.
Yes, absolutely. As a matter of fact, it's kind of funny you mentioned that. Right here, I've got this is one of my favorite episodes ever of my Sketching the Privateer show. It's one of my favorite ones, and this was all guys that I actually played video games with. Check this out real quick. Hang on. Let me get this up here. See if I can keep from having too much dead air.
The Gorilla Grodd one?
Right, yes, Strikers Island. Strikers Island. It's that one. Yep.
He was pretty tough in the beginning.
Yeah, he was. Everything was harder back then. Are you kidding me?
No kidding.
Oh man, you didn't have we didn't know why skill points are useful yet.
Right? What the hell?
We're talking about DC Universe Online.
Later, I went back to Hayden and I think because I started playing because my brother was playing it back then.
Yeah.
And he was trying so hard to convince me you got to worry about your gear. And I remember when I went back to Hayden, I had half DPS gear and half tank gear. Tier 1.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything. I was like, dude, this gives me like 1,000 DPS or defense and like 10, might. Why not just wear this? Like, makes no sense.
Well, had you ever played an MMO before?
No,
I'd never had
really
either.
Sunk my teeth into.
Right. Yeah, I'd
DPS,
never played World of Warcraft.
Tank, all that stuff was new to me. I had no idea what it meant.
Yep. That's a bunch of nerds talking about a video game. Now, you guys, if you've watched my channel, you recognize some of these guys. This guy right here is the guy that does the pregame party with me. That's Knock. Okay. The guy that helps me do the Sketching the Privateer show, you see his name's Mystic Mom on this video, but that is my man Jimmy, Just Fire Jim, that hosts that show with me. Now, the rest of these guys, this guy's from New York. Raul L, his character was the love child of Superman and Wonder Woman, right? This guy, he was a Fox character named Shulkin. He lives in Oklahoma. This fella right here went to school with Roman Reigns. He graduated from Georgia Tech. And he's done better than all of us, man. He's working for God. It's one of the social media apps. It's one of the ones where you can send videos. Snapchat. He works for Snapchat. That's what he does now. This guy right here, and he's Red Burst. But all of these guys, we all played video games together. That's what made me think of that, because when you mentioned he played at Georgia Tech, this guy went to school with him, and he told me he was one of the nicest guys in the world. Said he is very happy that he's become successful. I hate the fact that he didn't get to play football the way he wanted to.
Yeah.
By all accounts, he was an All-American linebacker. So,
I think he was pretty good. And,
yeah.
And speaking of that family, I haven't been following modern wrestling too closely, but I did see somebody posted something about The Rock's daughter having made her premiere.
Really? The Rock's daughter?
I think it may have been NXT.
Okay.
But apparently she's getting into the family business.
Really? Wow. Okay.
Yeah, there's so many that are related that are.
Oh, there are. Oh, yeah. Look, the chick that I can't stand in WWE. Well, I can't stand her because she's a heel and she's really good at it. Is the daughter of Ric Flair. Charlotte Flair is a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
I mean, but she is physically skilled as well. I mean, the girl is almost 6 feet tall, and she's built like her dad. She's muscular, Yeah. And she's
the Rock's daughter wrestles in the WWE under the name, what is it? Ava Raine.
Ava Raine. I'll have to remember that. Okay. Ava Raine. Gonna have to check her out. Let's see. What's Christian talking about? He says, so Joe, only 798 subs until I can buy you a beer. Yeah, it's a ways to go, man. By all accounts, it should take me a few years to do this. I'm just doing this because I enjoy the hell out of it, man. My brother would tell you that I always wanted to be an actor and get in front of a microphone and do stuff. When I was a kid, you know what I used to do, guys? And they used to take me to different places to do this show. I used to do, and I know he's been canceled because of the shit he's done, but me and Danny grew up on Bill Cosby. He was one of my dad's favorite comedians, and whatever that guy's done, he's a funny dude. All right.
Why is Their Error still one of my favorite comedy albums of all time?
Oh yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, my dad, he had every album. Okay. And he did this thing called The Chicken Heart, which is freaking hilarious, about a horror radio show that used to scare the shit out of him. And it is so damn funny. If you've never heard it, look up Chicken Heart by Bill Cosby. If it's even available anymore, they've probably pulled all these videos down and shit. But I used to act it out like I was the comedian doing it. And this is at the age of 12, 13, Dan, I was doing this. It was early on, and I used to go to different shows, dinners and stuff, and do it. I mean, it was crazy, man. I had a ball doing it. I've always loved movies. You guys know I talk about movies all the time, and I have a collection of a lot of videos, a whole lot of them. But I have the Academy Award winning movie every year since the year I was born. I purposely go out and buy it, and I was so thankful that that one with the two gay guys didn't win Best Picture that one year. Crash won it. I was so happy that happened. Oh my God. What was the name of that flick?
Brokeback Mountain.
Brokeback Mountain. Yeah, I was so glad that I didn't have to buy that movie, because I was going to be upset. People would see that in my collection and go, what the hell's wrong with you, son?
Have you ever heard Mad Mardigan tell the story of him watching Brokeback Mountain on the stream?
Oh my God.
He said this was back when he was in the military, and they got the movie not knowing the storyline. So him and a bunch of dudes sat around, and
Oh, I could just imagine.
I don't
Oh
know
my
how far
God.
along they got before they probably just all awkwardly, walked away. But
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
What is Christian talking about? He says, I enjoy your content, Joe. You are personable, and it's like listening to a buddy. Plus, you used to be a bartender. Extra street creds. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. I've had people tell me I should write books about when I was a bartender because you see some crazy shit back there. Let me tell you. Yeah, I was, let's see, I did 3 years military police corps, and then I did 18 as a bartender. 1 year of college. I when I went to LSUS, studied communications journalism. Can you believe that, guys? I wanted to be one of my heroes growing up. Well, I say heroes, a pair of guys, the guys that took down Nixon.
Woodward and
Woodward and
Bernstein.
Bernstein. Yeah, I was a big fan of them, and I think it was Bernstein. No, it was Woodward that wrote the biography of one of my favorite people, John Belushi. It was called Wired. It was a book called Wired. They made a really bad movie out of it, but the book is fantastic. If you've never read that book, man, John knew he had problems. And
Woodward's had a more successful career than
yes, he has.
I think Bernstein
that's what I was aspiring to. I'll get back to that in a second. Yeah. But yeah, I studied it for about half a year. I did really good the first half, and then I went and you guys, we've heard all this talk about fake news and all this other garbage, right? I'm here to tell you, they didn't just start doing the propaganda thing with the news. Okay. This is not new. Okay. I'm walking up the student steps. First of all, I made the worst mistake I could have done. Okay. I took a night class with a buddy of mine from high school named Ramey Woodrum. All right. Which meant we were going to end up drinking every fucking night when we got together. Yeah. But anyway, we're walking up the student steps before we go to our history class at night that night. And there was a cameraman there and a reporter from a local station. And they waved us over, and we went over there and asked me a question. They said, do you mind if we ask you a question? I was like, yeah, no problem. She puts the mic in my face and goes, how do you feel about President Reagan making cuts to higher education? And I just looked at Ramey and I said, well, it doesn't really affect us. We joined the military. We got plenty of money to go to school on. It doesn't really affect us. And she looked at the cameraman and did the slash throat thing. And I kind of paused and I said, do you not want to talk to me anymore? She goes, no, we're done. Thank you. And I just couldn't let it go. I said, now I'm taking journalism here. They're teaching me that I'm supposed to be objective and cover every side of a story. Is this not true? And she looked at me dead in the face and said this. She said, no, we just want to talk to people that are getting hurt by it.
There you go. It's all about the agenda, whatever angle you're pushing.
I was just flabbergasted, man. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. That, coupled with the fact that I had an old Army buddy that I was drinking with every fucking night, made me not even go back to class after the first couple of weeks. But
fake news has been around forever. It used to be called yellow journalism back in the day.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. One of the things that was neat about that, though, was we got, being in school, we got access to, one of the parts of the class was you have to decide what you're going to put in front of the public and what you're not going to put in front of the public. And I saw some pictures that were just, wow. Stuff that they wouldn't put in front of the public. Now this was, I want to say first semester. So that's 1986. The winter of 1986 is when I would have been going. There was a public official. I can't remember if it was a mayor. It wasn't a governor because it would have been a lot bigger. But I believe it was a mayor of a small town, got up in front of a press conference and pulled a gun out and put it in his mouth. And
I saw that on Faces of Death.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Well, if you saw that, then you know what I'm about to say. He was, you could see there's expression in his face and all this stuff. But the second he pulled the trigger, he just looked like he was shocked. and that's all there was to his face.
He was at like a press conference.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
in front of a bunch of people.
Yeah,
And
he'd got caught doing something.
yeah, and he put a gun in his mouth and pulled the trigger, and to see the change in expression on his face was just wow, just wicked. And another one, it was just heartbreaking. It was a I don't know who took the picture from where, but it was a really, really good picture. It must have been from across the street with a telephoto lens or something. But it was a fire escape collapsing in Boston, Massachusetts, and it was a woman holding her child, and she had lost the child, and they were in midair. The picture was taken in midair, and it was just like, wow, unbelievable. Yeah, I enjoyed journalism class, but once that happened, I was like, man, you know what? No, I'll find my own answers to things. You know, I won't be spoon fed them like that.
When I went to the local college here, I was going to be a journalism major, and I was in classes, and I got a job working for the local paper. What they used to call the cub reporter. But when they flat out told me, no, that's not the slant we want to go with the story, because I wrote it completely neutral.
Yeah.
I was like, nope, I'm done.
Yeah. Yeah. It's you know, you feel like you're going to be, you know, uncovering things and finding truth, and that's not what it's about. It's about making money, and whatever's going to make them money is what they're going to put out. You know what I'm saying? So it's
you got to have viewers, you got to have subscribers, you got to have viewership.
It's true.
I took journalism, I guess journalism 101 or whatever it was. I had to take it for a major, and I still remember there were 2 books I had to buy for that class. I had to buy the AP, maybe the AP style manual.
Okay.
And I had to buy a book called The Elements of Style by Strunk and White.
Okay.
And I don't know why I remember those 2 books out of all the books I've forgotten that, you know, that I had to buy in college.
I still got mine.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
And but yeah, I remember those 2 specific ones. I also remember the professor being real stern about certain grammar that you used. For instance, if you had one person on each side of a door, you would say that they were, you know, like if you had 2 people, one on each side, that you would say they were on each side, not either side. Little things like that if you're writing a story, you know, things that may not sound important, but that you needed to use a certain, you know.
Yeah, my wife and kids would tell you that I'm a language Nazi myself. I am. I don't write, you know, I don't use little abbreviations and stuff in my texts and stuff. My daughter will sit there and type me a bunch of, what do they call that? Leet? Is that the language they write in? The shorthand for text or something? I think it's called Leet.
Could be.
And I'm like, look, I don't know what you're saying. Send it back to me when you're using proper English, man. You know what I mean? Or call me, one of the 2. But yeah, let's see. Christians saying, and plus your military service, I believe that the military are the ultimate civil servants. I believe it is so much. My boy is in the Canadian Army. Very cool, man. Very cool. Let's see. When it bleeds, it leads. Journalism. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's no doubt. Yeah. Sensationalism. That's what I call it. But here's my problem with modern day mainstream news. Half of it's editorial, and they don't tell you it is. I have no problem with editorializing. I mean, it's you know, they've had an editorial page in the paper forever, you know, but that's opinion. It's not fact. And that's what just drives me nuts, man. That drives me absolutely berserk when they start editorializing and they don't tell you it's editorial. You know what I mean?
I will say this though, the editorializing, it goes both directions as far as favoring the right or favoring the left.
Oh yeah, I can't watch either one of them, bro. I'm not calling out a side here. I can't watch ABC News, and I can't watch Fox News. Both of them. And it's funny, Danny turned me on to one called was it One American News, Dan?
Yep.
Yeah, they had a constitutional slant, but he said as soon as Trump got in office, they went all in with him, and you know, they kind of lost credibility with him. So I didn't even try and get it after that. So
well, and I think they lost one of their major carriers too. One American News did.
Yeah. They're still around. I see
Yeah.
own every once in a while, but
you know,
I think I
guess
still follow them on YouTube.
Do you?
Yeah, I think so.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that that frustrates me is as far as things having a slant. Even your news updates on radio that are at the bottom and top of the hour that are like a minute or two long.
Yeah.
Even those are slanted right or left.
Yes. Yes.
Yep.
If I'm getting 2 minutes of news, just give me the news.
Yeah. And what burns me up about it is those of us sitting here, we know how to filter that out. Some people don't, and they buy that stuff as gospel, man. And it's
most people.
It's so frustrating.
There's a lot of people that don't, and a lot of people that count on these specific channels to get their news from. And this is the way they're voting because they believe in what they're hearing.
Yeah.
They've been conditioned to that. And I mean, you could look all the way back to our educational system. We've dumbed down our society so bad that all we do is look for somebody to tell us the truth, right? That's got to be true, which is right or left society. We've lost our way to be able to have a civil conversation and try to find ways to build gaps and build bridges. We're labeled and categorized and we're separated, and that's all intentional, man. As long as we're fighting with each other, government can have the power. We're united. That's what scares government, and that's why they intentionally, and this is not just the United States, this is globally, they separate us. They get us fighting with each other so they don't see the big shell game that's going on above us that we pay for.
Yeah, that's what burns Danny up the worst, that we pay for. Say it again, Dan.
We pay for all that, everything.
Well, speaking of something we pay for, I was listening to NPR the other day for the first time in years.
Oh God!
I said, I'll give it a shot. It was a long distance drive, and so I'm listening to it, and they had just a couple of great interviews. Like they played a great interview they did with Anthony Hopkins that they did, and they played an interview they did with the woman that did the demon voice in The Exorcist. It was like a Halloween themed show where they're playing all interviews, and that was great. And then they started talking about politics, and it was just like, no, I could handle it for about 3 minutes, and there were about 7 lies in 3 minutes, and I had to change the channel.
Yep. Yeah, NPR has gone downhill for sure. Yeah, they really have. Since Danny brought that up, I've got to show this one right here, man. Hang on one second. Let me pull this up real quick. Yeah, this is one of my favorites. I used to show this to guys at work all the damn time, man. Government's worst fear. I got you back, brother. Facts.
Yeah.
You people are just brainwashed. And you see what you got here, right?
Yeah.
Actually, that's been changed. Well, actually, he does still have the rebel flag on his hat. Yeah. But this isn't the first time I saw it. This is just I was looking for it one day, and this guy's got an M16, and this guy's got like a Mac 10 or something like that. If you see the whole damn picture. But yeah, it's true. What Danny was saying is absolutely true. They keep us at each other's throats so that they can control the narrative, and they can control us, basically. That way we're not looking at what they're doing,
Yep.
and more people need to pay attention to what they're doing. And that's,
if they let us unite, then we will bounce them out of power, and they know it.
Yep. I don't even know if I got that one in here, Dan. I don't. I've only got this. This is a different scheme than our show. Our show, man. I've got so many videos on there. It's not even funny. But we still got this one though, Dan.
Never go full retard.
Don't go full retard. It's not good for you.
Full retard left and right. I mean, there's no end to it.
Yeah,
that should be the catchphrase of the Biden administration.
Right.
Right. Well, I got one for Biden because he's just an.
And you got your head all the way up it.
I saw one today where he was talking to some group in Florida about Social Security, and he brought up the fact of diabetes and insulin medication, and how the founders and creators didn't go public with this medication because they wanted it to be available for everybody. and he knows this because he talked to those guys. Well, both of those guys died before he was even born.
I mean, I knew he was old, but jeez.
You know, gas was $5 $5 a gallon when he took over office. Where is this guy? I don't know.
He took credit. He took credit. He's like, the other day he was like, Social Security is going to have the biggest increase in was it in like 20 years or something, or since the 80s or whatever. And he's like, and you know, my administration's responsible for that. No, Nixon's administration is, because he signed a law tying the Social Security to inflation, to this consumer price index.
Hello.
Nothing, yeah.
Hello, join us in the real world.
He also said something to the effect of, you know, with inflation, if people can't buy name brand cereal, just buy the generic store brand.
I mean, honestly, God, you know, and
they're expensive too.
Another example of a career politician that does not live in our world. You know,
I don't think he lives in any world.
How simple it is, right?
Yep.
You know,
well, you know, and that's
his son running around getting all the headlines.
I just, you know, I always, when we start talking about them living in a different world than we do, I always think of the story I saw during the Super Bowl run of the Giants. Remember when the Ravens just crushed the Giants in the Super Bowl, Dan?
Yeah.
And one of my favorite quarterbacks ever, Kerry Collins, is playing for him. And he had a great career with the Carolina Panthers. I think he took him to the NFC Championship game like in 2 years after he was there, right? And then he just, he jumped into the bottom of a bottle and got sent to the wrong town to be in that situation, went down to New Orleans and basically flushed his career down the toilet. But then all of a sudden, in 2000, he takes the Giants to the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
And they're interviewing him, and they're asking him, look, you know, after all that you've gone through, how is it you bounce back the way you have? And he said, well, I got to give all the credit to my wife. And the interviewer said, well, why is that? She said, well, she's the first person that ever told me no.
Yeah. Hey, they live in a bubble. Those athletes, especially at that top level, they live in a bubble, and they have sycophants all around them telling them how great they are.
Yep.
And so they really, their reality is definitely skewed. For real.
Well, you look at the downfall of Elvis, the downfall of Michael Jackson, all these guys, they were surrounded by yes men.
Yeah. Yeah. And Michael Jackson and Heath Ledger's another one, and Elvis, all three of them. Well, in Elvis's case, you got to put a lot of that on Colonel Tom Parker, but he was an addict, but man, did you see the movie about him? It was pretty good.
I've seen Moulin Rouge, which is the same director.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a lot of his movies are similar in terms of, you know, being a musical. Moulin Rouge is one of the few like musicals that I would actually enjoyed watching.
Well, it's different because it gives you it's not using classic music; it's actually using modern music. That I enjoyed. Baz Luhrmann to his credit he's a really talented movie maker, and the stuff he brought to the Elvis story, like I was telling my brother, you know, when he used to do the kung fu moves on the stage and stuff, I never realized until I watched this movie, he was actually conducting the show. He was conducting the show. He was sending cues to the band on what to do. I thought he was just doing stuff for flair. He was conducting his own show. And it was really neat to see, man. But Moulin Rouge, I like that one too. And of course, Danny doesn't watch many musicals, but I
wouldn't call that Elvis movie a musical. No. I mean, music is the background, but it was really a story. His story, and you know, the music is in the background. So it's not like Grease or any other traditional music.
These guys were all addicts, and they were all surrounded by people that didn't tell them no. Absolutely, absolutely. But
by the way,
in Elvis's case, sometimes he was pumped up with drugs just to get him on stage.
Yeah, they ran him like a rented mule, man. To
They
get that guy,
rode
find
him.
him on stage. What that was all
No
about.
doubt.
There was
Let's
a legend from Elvis's era that passed
Mhm.
away recently. Jerry Lee Lewis.
Yeah, Jerry Lewis.
Yeah, great balls of fire. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Ron says, "Sup, buddy? Volume is down, but stopping by to say hi. Good to see you, man. I sent you the link if you want to join us there, Knock. And then we've got The Dork Knight. I love the Elvis movie. Yeah, isn't he in the thread, Martin? Isn't he in the thread that I sent that out to? Let me take a look and see.
This is where you kick me off the show.
No,
I don't like Elvis. I can barely stand Elvis.
It's okay, man. You know I'm not going to kick you off the show for that. Not at all.
As much as I like Elvis, I could see how someone would not like him.
Yeah,
it's conceivable to me.
It's kind of like me and Led Zeppelin. If I never hear another Led Zeppelin song, I'll be okay with it because it's been played to death. So
my mom was a huge Elvis fan.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
My middle name is Aaron. That ought to tell you something.
There you go. There it is. Yep. Well, I can tell you this. I will never forget the day that guy died because I think we were watching Star Trek. We used to watch Star Trek every afternoon after school, and it came across the screen just like the scroll I got on the bottom of my screen right now.
Yeah.
And it said Elvis dead at the age of 42. And Danny had which one did you have? Did you have the black leather jacket Elvis poster?
No, I had it was the white jumpsuit. It had the gold square buttons on it. It wasn't one of the most widely known ones, but he was in good shape for that poster. It was
right. He wasn't the fat Vegas
down,
Elvis yet. Yeah,
special one. He was just that was sad to see because he had to have the lyrics to My Way. You know, he couldn't remember the lyrics and he could hardly move. Man, he looked really bad. He really was bad.
He really struggled there. I know there's a lot of people that probably have stories where either they had an interaction or knew somebody that had an interaction. My uncle, who's now in his 80s, early 80s, he was in high school back when Elvis was performing at high schools when he was first getting started, and he got kicked out of, my uncle's high school because he swiveled his hips on stage.
Wow!
And out in the parking lot, he asked one of my uncle's buddies for a light, for a cigarette. So that's the closest thing I have to.
There you go. There's your Elvis story, man. You got one. Let's see. The Dork Knight says, I was never an Elvis fan, honestly. Didn't know fuck all about him, but I love the movie. Yeah, it was a good flick. Baz Luhrmann is a talented movie maker. I do enjoy his stuff. I do. I'm trying to think what else came out in the last year that I really enjoyed. Of course, Top Gun Maverick. Danny.
Top Gun Maverick, dude. It's a clean sweep at the Oscars. Got to, man.
How many times do I have to explain to you the political? He's never going to get an award for that, man.
People have spoken, man. Come on.
They got to give it something. They got to recognize it some way.
Right?
It'll get like best sound direction or something like that.
Right, yeah, it'll get a special effects thing.
It will not. Well, it may get nominated for Best Picture, maybe, but I doubt it. But there's no way it wins.
And there's no way it wins,
man. Because look, the money is raked in. I mean, what was it? It was still in the top 15 last episode, right?
Yeah, it was.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
It's a great movie. It was fantastic. This
is what
the
movie
thing.
experiences are supposed to be, man. Just go and forget your troubles, forget the real world, and just be entertained, right?
Now, I got to tell you, Dan, these are the guys that I talk to about entertainment, especially guys from Pop Culture Minefield, Martin and and John there. And I'm telling you, Danny is a big fan of Superman and Batman. He's a big fan of those two. And trust me, good stuff is coming from DC.
Yes.
I saw the trailer today, the first trailer. I guess they're in production for the new Man of Steel movie. Very excited. Henry Cavill's going to be Superman. He's the best Superman. He captures that character as far as my opinion. I love the way he plays Superman. Yeah.
The post-credit scene of The Flash will set up Superman, Man of Steel.
Yeah.
2.
Cool.
Whatever they call it. And we're calling
whatever
it Man
they're
of Steel
calling
2.
it, right?
Yeah, it could be anything.
I've seen it. I've seen it in a couple of videos called Man of Steel 2.
I think it was called Man of Tomorrow in the trailer that I saw.
Really?
That'd be a good title.
Cool. That would be a good title. That would be a cool title.
Both Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck have signed contracts for multiple movies. Affleck's got a 3-movie deal. Cavill's got a 3-movie deal plus guest appearances.
And he quit The Witcher, right? Didn't one of the Helmsworths?
He left The Witcher.
Over his role in the Witcher?
Liam Helmsworth taking over his role. He left The Witcher because of the Superman, but also he had. This isn't the stated thing, but it makes sense because he had said he'd only do it as long as they kept true to the books and the games.
Yeah.
And apparently season 3 goes off the books and the games, so...
Well, that sounds like him. Dan, I don't know if you know this about Henry Cavill, but he is a geek just like the rest of us. He loves the source material and stuff, and he wants to stay true to it. You know what I mean? He's one of those guys. Doesn't he play 40K Warhammer? He
plays Warhammer 40K. He almost missed his Superman call from Zack Snyder. In fact, he did miss it and had to call him back because he was raiding in World of Warcraft.
He's a geek.
Yep. He has a whole video with him building his own computer.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
That's
that's cool. I mean, it's good when the actors have that kind of investment, like when Carl Urban did Dredd. I mean, he was a big fan of that character, and he really championed that film. And the way I read a lot of the Dredd stuff, and the way he portrayed Dredd in that is right out of the comic strip. I mean, it just
never took his helmet off.
You know,
and from what I understand, the character is not supposed to take his helmet off for nothing. So
no, he doesn't take his helmet off for anything. So
he
never.
In the comic strip, he has.
He never goes full retard.
He never goes full retard.
No. Dredd has taken off his helmet on the comic strip, but always you can always see him from the back.
Right.
Only other judges have seen his face.
All right, gotcha. Yeah. Dork Knight says Maverick. And he says Dawn of Hope. Is that the title it is?
That would be a good title for
it would be. Dawn of Hope
Superman
would be
movie.
A good title for a Superman sequel. Well, see, what's funny to me is that the Dawn of Justice, that was supposed to be the second Superman movie, but they felt like they were so far behind Marvel that they threw a whole bunch more stuff into it. And I don't know, it had good stuff in it, but it looked like it was really ham-handedly smashed together, you know?
The problem is Snyder can't write and direct and deal with Superman.
Yeah.
Proper Superman.
Yeah.
And with this new contract, Henry Cavill has more of a say in how things go with Superman. And he is a huge Superman fan.
Well, that's fantastic. That's good to hear. That is fantastic to hear, man.
Better Superman, Nick Cage or Henry Cavill?
Henry Cavill.
I don't know.
Well, Nick Cage is a huge fan. I wouldn't want to see him play.
No.
I wouldn't want to see him play Superman.
I'm alluding to the photo shoot he did.
They were going to do it with him at one point.
That was the Tim Burton.
Right.
Tim Burton Superman. So is it Superman Forever?
And I don't think Tim Burton should ever do a Superman movie.
No.
Well, I think that was going to be.
He was good at Batman. That's cool. You know, the goth thing works for Batman, but Superman, not so much.
I think it was going to be a Kevin Smith script. Tim Burton directing, Nick Cage leading. That's a mess. There.
That's a mess. I don't want to.
Somewhere there's an alternate universe where that movie was made.
It totally ruined Superman, right? Oh my God!
I thought Brandon Routh was fine. I mean,
Brandon Routh. Look, my brother and I went and saw every Superman movie together. I even drove when Man of Steel come out. I drove to Dallas to go see it with him opening day, and blown away by it. But I took him to go see when we were still in town here, Superman Returns, and the thing that was so much fun about Superman Returns, there's good stuff in there, but it was clearly an ode to the Christopher Reeve Superman.
Yeah.
Well, it's more than an ode to the Christopher Reeve. It's the same character.
It's the same character.
It's the same Superman. It's just they had to replace the actor.
He's got quotes that are straight out of the first movie, and stuff like that. I mean, the whole side story with and Kevin Spacey was great as friggin' Lex Luthor. I thought he was really good at it.
I mean, he wasn't Gene Hackman.
No, he wasn't Gene Hackman, but nobody is. I don't think anybody else will ever do it as well as that guy did. But the whole thing with the son kind of kind of rubbed the whole movie the wrong way. But
to be honest,
but the rest of it, man, look, when he picks up that whole friggin' city, Danny's like, he's not going to pick that whole thing up, is he? I said, well, they do call him Superman, right?
Superman. I love it when Hollywood gets it right, man.
Yep.
Pre-crisis Superman could move the Earth out of the way and move it back. He was that strong.
Yeah. Now you heard what Danny just said. He loves it when Hollywood gets it right. Yeah. Because they've only gotten his character that he loves. Growing up, see, we're not huge DC fans. We're Marvel fans. And he was a Hulk guy growing up, and I was a Spider-Man guy. And he hates the way they've treated the Hulk in the Marvel movies. It's you're right.
Even the first
bad.
one? Even
actually, he actually likes now.
You want
go ahead and speak to it, Daniel. I don't need to talk
the first one. The first one didn't do very well, but I thought that was as close to the real character as Hollywood has gotten, and even that wasn't good enough for me. But the first one, as far as character goes,
now explain to him it's not the MCU one; it's the first.
So the
very
Universal.
No, the Ang Lee one.
Ang Lee one.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
With Eric Bana.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because the angrier he gets, the stronger he gets, and it just doesn't stop Hulk. He just. That's why they tried to. Well, that's why they shot him off into the universe, or the galaxy, because they just couldn't deal with him anymore. But he's become an afterthought, a punchline, a joke, really. And for me, that's really I'm a big fan of the way they treat Hulk. Yeah.
Part of that is due to rights issues because Universal owns a chunk of the Hulk, and they have like the distribution rights. So Marvel can't make a full Hulk movie. They can put him in other people's movies and use them just fine there, and it doesn't trigger the contract. But if they make a straight Hulk movie, like if they were going to do World War Hulk, they would have
which would be awesome. They would either
have to pay Universal to buy the rights back, or Universal would actually get the distribution rights and get that chunk of money.
I understand that, and I understand the legal wranglings but as a fan, I would rather them just not even include him than to make him a joke.
Right.
Because you talk about the Incredible Hulk as one of the jewels in the crown of Marvel, one of the longest standing characters, and they've treated him like a freaking, don't get me started.
Yeah, I understand.
Between Eric Bana,
huge Captain America fan though, so it all balances out for me though.
Yeah.
To me, between Eric Bana, Ed Norton, and
they've had some good
Ruffalo.
actors play.
I like Ed Norton.
I think Ed Norton's the best of the three.
Played Bruce Banner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't care for Ruffalo.
The best to ever play Bruce Banner's Bill Bixby.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Hey, that show.
I'm a big fan of the Ed Norton.
You're touching the heart.
I thought he was really good.
I'm telling you. Look, that TV show, that was special because they put a lot of TV shows out with superheroes that didn't make it. Hell, the Spider-Man TV show they tried to put out back then was complete crap. I didn't even watch it. I'm a Spider-Man
with the road.
I watch it.
I've watched it. I watched it.
It was the Incredible Hulk TV show, but the Incredible Hulk was almost in the background. It was more about the story of Banner and his travel, his journey, and his need to reconcile the two. And of course, the Hulk was there, but I think it was more about the storytelling, and that always drives the audience. A good story, and that's what that had. Good story.
Did you know that was the first cameo appearance of Stan Lee?
Yeah.
In the Trial of the Hulk movie.
I was just say the Trial of the Hulk movie with Thor in it, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he's in the jury.
Yep. I do remember that. Yeah. They made a couple of movies with But yeah, the state of the MCU right now, I'm not even interested, man. I'm not planning on going. Now, my poor brother gets drugged to these things by his wife because she watches everything. He wasn't kidding.
Yeah, we
She
have to go
watches
to every
everything.
superhero movie. Yeah.
So he is going to be drugged, kicking and screaming to Wakanda forever. Trust me. He's
Yeah,
going to have to
no
go
doubt.
see that movie.
No doubt.
I've
seen
gone to
it.
every Marvel movie since, I guess, since Spider-Man
Mm-hmm.
on opening weekend. So I'll go to Wakanda. I'm not really looking forward to it,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go in the matinee, so I don't have to pay as much.
Right. Right. Well, this is my thing with it. And I've said this several times. Matt from Small Time Republic there's heard me say it. I'm sure you guys have heard me say it. Why not just recast the character? I just don't understand. What is the problem with recasting T'Challa? What is the deal?
They didn't waste
It's too soon.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
too
thinking the new
soon.
Black Panther will be his sister.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's already been spoiled.
Yeah. It's definitely a chick.
That's a done deal.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't waste any time recasting General Thunderbolt Ross.
Yeah.
Bringing in
even
Harrison
faster.
Ford.
By the way, Dork Knight says Planet Hulk movie would be dope. Yeah, it would be dope. They need to get their shit together and make that happen.
Well, they kind of already. That
They
was like
destroyed the whole
movie that
thing.
showed the actual Hulk being the Hulk and all that he brings and that duality and the struggle, the inner struggle that goes on with that character, man. It's a great story. It's like the Moon Knight story. The comic book depiction of Moon Knight is amazing. That crap that they put out on TV. I'm a huge Moon Knight fan, and I was disgusted. I was like, I can't believe what I'm seeing.
What were you saying, Martin? I'm sorry. What were you saying?
The whole thing with World War Hulk.
Yeah.
That I mean, you have to do Planet Hulk first, and then just destroy that story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I prefer they don't touch the other one.
Yeah, I hear you. What's Robert Culloch talking about? I'm coming in late here, guys. You're talking about superheroes. What superhero would you like to see brought to the screen that hasn't been brought yet?
Well, Namor's coming.
Booster Gold.
Booster Gold, really? You'd like to see him?
Booster Gold and Blue Beetle's my favorite duo in the DC universe.
Okay. My
favorite run of Justice League is the Geffen de Matea era.
Okay.
In the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
You know, back when they did hold the Justice League International, that's when, you know, Guy Gardner was a part of it. That's when the famous punch happened with between Guy Gardner and Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Where Guy Gardner's like, I can take you. And Batman says, well, not with the ring. Fine, I'll take the ring off. Bat, one punch.
Done.
Have we ever had Brainiac in a movie?
No,
not yet.
But he's going to be the villain of the Man of Steel 2 movie.
Oh, cool.
There's an interesting character out of the Valiant universe called Shadow Man. He can walk between the living and the dead. It's based out of New Orleans. It's a really good character. That would be interesting to see on the big screen. Shadow Man.
I would like to see Lobo.
Lobo. Yeah, that's a popular one. Now, from what I understand, he was one of the highlights of that Krypton television show. I heard they did him pretty good on that.
Yeah.
Is that the case? I have never watched Krypton, so
me neither.
Yeah. I've never watched that one, and I never watched Smallville.
Smallville's good.
Is it? I've heard it's good. It's just
I don't know. It's too soap opera-y for me.
Yeah, it's really CW teen angsty, but
it's kind of
once you get past that, it does have some good storylines, and they did at least make an attempt to do the whole Justice League thing.
Okay, all right. Well, you know, the only reason why it's kind of like why I didn't watch Gotham. I want to see them fully grown. I want to see them doing their thing on a regular basis. You know, Gotham. Why do I want to watch a show where my favorite character is only 12 years old? and it's about a bunch of bad guys. And our dad watched it and loved it. He thought it was a great show. Kept telling me I needed to watch it. I was like, Dad, I'm not into the bad guys. I give a shit what they do. I want to see them get beat up. You know. Let me see what these guys are talking about here.
By the way, the guy that played Lex Luthor in Smallville, Michael Rosenbaum, he and Tom Welling have a podcast called Talkville.
Okay.
Where I believe it's where they go through each episode. I don't know how far along they are. I don't think they're extremely far along with it yet. But so for anybody that was a fan of the show, that may be something of interest to check out. I tell you what, there's so much content that you could check out. You could,
and comic books? Are you kidding me? Yeah. I was going to say, and Danny might remember this one. I'll tell you one that I'd love to friggin' see brought to the screen, probably more than the Silver Surfer, and that's Rom the Space Knight. I thought that book was kick ass. It was actually made as a way to sell toys, because they made this toy called, I think it was Hasbro, wasn't it? They did a couple of lines like this. They did Rom the Space Knight and Micronauts, right, Dan? Wasn't that the two books they put out at the same time? Yeah. And Rom the Space Knight was badass. That was a great book.
I had a subscription to 2 comic books growing up as a kid. Godzilla and Micronauts.
Yeah, there you go. Godzilla did come out around that time, and that was through Hasbro too, wasn't it? Weren't they selling Godzilla toys back then?
I don't think it was Hasbro. It might have been. Because I used to have the big.
They
Godzilla.
had a deal with some friggin' toy line that's why they made the Micronauts book and the Rom the Space Knight book. It was to push toys, is what it was. I can't remember. It might have been Mattel.
They put Godzilla. They put Godzilla with the Shogun Warriors.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was in that line.
Okay, gotcha. Dork Knight says he'd like to see The Question. That's pretty cool. I don't know if you know anything about The Question. I'm sure some of you comic book geeks do, but I just know stuff from DC Universe Online, and he's on there. He's got no face, Dan. This guy has no face at all. I guess you'd do that as like a noir type detective story, huh, John? Yeah. Wouldn't they?
Yeah, that would have to be, something to throw back to like the 50s and the 40s. Hard-boiled detective stories.
Right. That's what I was thinking. Let's see. Robert Kellogg says, "You in your captain's chair, Joe? Laugh out loud." Yeah, man. This is my. Actually, it's a Marvel chair. Hang on. You can see. And it looks like Spider-Man. If you see the whole chair, it looks like Spider-Man. It has 2 holes for his eyes on the back here. And let's see what else we have here. Dork Knight says, I haven't watched Smallville or Krypton either. Krypton I was kind of interested in. It was on Sci-Fi when it first came out. And I think I watched 1 episode of it, and I didn't really get into it. So, but from what I understand, they did a good job on Lobo in that show. Yeah. I heard that was one of the highlights. But as far as Brainiac goes, Matt, that's the guy I think, they keep bringing Zod back into the Superman story.
Yep.
Let's see some of these guys that are the true bad guys in the Superman stories. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Lex Luthor's been done to death. Zod's been done to death.
Right. Zod's been Brainiac. Let's see Brainiac, man. And they brought Doomsday in way too soon. That was a crave troll. That was not Doomsday. That was just, blech, But let's see some of his actual bad guys, his rogues gallery, if you will. He's got some. I'd love to see a Mixie Spitalik story. That would be hilarious, man. That would be awesome. Just put it as like a subplot in one of the major stories.
I forgot we were talking about that somewhere else, and somebody said that it would be a short story because Superman, in 30 minutes he'd have him tricked.
Right.
Superman's much smarter than he is.
Yeah. Yeah. Make it. Doesn't it go? He has to say his name
backwards.
Yeah. Isn't that it?
Has to say it backwards.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's crazy, man.
I think probably the challenge though with I would think writing for Superman would be challenging though, because you've got to come up with some sort of deficiency.
Yeah, you got to come up with a way to weaken him to create drama. Yeah,
that's what Kryptonite's
sure.
for.
Right.
Yeah. But you got to come up with different ways to,
Yeah,
to incorporate
you got to
it.
come up with some different ways that they got it or whatever. Yeah.
Well, that's why the fight between Black Adam and Superman is going to be interesting, because Superman has another weakness: magic.
Yeah, this is true. And Black Adam is all about the magic, no doubt about it. He has magical powers. Yep. Let's see. Yeah, and Dork Knight's backing you up. He says, "Or magic." Yep. So, is there anything you guys are looking forward to seeing that's coming out? I want to see Black Adam. I still haven't had time to see it yet. That's why I haven't gone.
It's pretty good. It's an enjoyable movie.
Yeah, that's what I hear. I hear it doesn't break new ground or anything, but it's good. Danny gives it the thumb sideways, which means it's okay.
I was really hoping for a Watchmen type movie from Black Adam, because I heard it was supposed to be very edgy and dark, and it ended up being Avengers meets Guardians of the Galaxy, and a little bit of humor, and the cinematography was really good, and the way it was shot was pretty cool. I was just hoping for a more edgy, dark, which is what I'm into anyway. So
yeah, that's his kind of thing. Yeah, where a lot of people didn't like Dawn of Justice, Danny loves that movie. He thinks it's fantastic. But
I like the Zach version is my favorite version, though.
Yeah,
I really like that one. Yeah.
I like Paul Rudd, so the third Ant-Man movie.
Yeah,
might be okay.
Well, I'm looking forward to that because of Kang.
Me too.
Okay.
Phase 5, the only things I'm looking forward to, and if I have to pull that graphic up, I'll go find it, but you guys have all seen it, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
The Phase 5 rundown. The thing that starts it, apparently, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's the quantum movie with Ant-Man.
Because phase 5 or phase 4 ends with technically the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special,
right?
But
that must be just going to Disney Plus. That's
a Disney Plus. Okay. That's a Disney Plus show, and it's
okay.
It's basically Quill's feeling down. It's Christmas time, so they go to Earth to cheer him up for Christmas because he's missing Gamora.
Oh, okay.
So they get into hijinks there.
Okay.
But no, Wakanda Forever is supposed to be the end of phase 4, technically, of the movie side anyway.
Right.
And then Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania is the next.
Yeah. And I like the trailer I saw, and I like if they keep to what they've been doing with Ant-Man. One thing I have liked about the Marvel movies, you see different genres. Ant-Man's definitely the comedy of the bunch.
Yeah.
And I want to see those elements remain, because why waste Paul Rudd? He's funny as hell. That guy's great.
Yeah. I will be interested to see if the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special makes some sort of reference to the Star Wars holiday special, especially the Chewbacca's father watching some VR pornography. Which that they had VR porn in a 1978,
that's funny.
Holiday special is very strange.
Yeah.
With the Wookiee. Yeah.
But the only other thing in Phase 5 that I'm even remotely interested in is Captain America: New World Order. And it's only because of the title. I'm hoping, because I've told Danny this several times. If you guys don't know this, my favorite Marvel Cinematic Universe movie is Captain America: Winter Soldier. I love the entire message of that movie, the dangers of the surveillance state, all that stuff. I think it's freaking awesome. I still think that's the best one they've ever made.
Yeah.
Well,
but that's clearly a spy movie. And with the title being New World Order, I'm hoping they're going to get back to that type of storyline where we're trying to beat people that are trying to take over the world, which is what Captain America does. He's trying to keep people free, So.
Even if it's Falcon Cap and not
right. I don't care who it is. The original guys have had their run. Great. I have no problem with them bringing because I mean, hell, he becomes Captain America in the comic books.
Yeah, so I'm fine with
that's
it.
I got no problem with that. There's no lore problem there, nothing. But I just, I want to see him get back to that, that side of the story. But the rest of it looks like total cringe. It really does.
I'm waiting for Fantastic Four.
And that's Phase 6. That's the beginning of Phase 6.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
That's what I'm looking forward to. And we got to wait another whole phase for that shit.
Well, they've pushed some movies. They've pushed some dates around, and I'm not 100% sure on the new date and what got moved where. I'll have to go look that up. But Blade, I'm kind of looking forward to. I want to see what they do with Blade.
Here's the problem. Disney's making Blade.
I know.
Oh, it's going to be crap then. Yeah.
I'm just wanting them to do Midnight Suns.
Okay. Well, I mean, I just can't see them doing a blood, guts, and gore story.
I have a hard time trusting Disney with Blade or Deadpool.
Or Daredevil. That's the one that really scares the shit out of me, especially after the way they did him in She-Hulk.
Daredevil Born Again. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and then you've got, what is it? Thunderbolts, which is basically the Suicide Squad, Marvel style, right?
Yeah.
I
mean, that technically that isn't what they started out as, because they started out as the Avengers disappeared, so a bunch of villains got together, changed their names and identities, and became a new team.
Okay.
And it was all Baron Zemo.
Yeah, Baron Zemo. Which, I gotta say, that's one of the best characters they've developed so far.
Well, Baron Zemo and
I dig him so
Norman
far.
Osborn.
Yeah, right.
Because Norman Osborn was Iron Patriot.
Yep. He's what is it, Martin?
Norman Osborn as Iron Patriot.
Oh,
yeah. He was the first one in the comics to wear the red, white, and blue armor, if I remember right.
Yep. Iron Patriot. That's him. But that's the only two out of that entire phase. What they've got a TV show called Agatha about this wit. Who cares?
Yeah. Although the rumored cast for that's going to be good. It's going to have like Jimmy Smits and Jeffrey Dean Morgan and the rumored cast.
Wait a minute! Didn't you tell me that Jeffrey Dean Morgan's supposed to be playing Mephisto in that?
That's the rumor.
Yep. Sacha Baron Cohen is playing Mephisto.
Okay, if that's confirmed. I just the poster I saw was not official.
Okay.
That's not really confirmed, but practically confirmed.
I gotcha.
Because some of the sources that's saying that are people that have been right in the past.
Sacha Baron Cohen. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That guy. What a troll. That guy, his shit is funny, guys. I'm sorry. I'm a fan. He cracks me up, dude. He does.
Playing the character that Marvel has trolled us
that
with.
Borat movie is just off the chain, man.
Well, I saw it in the theater, and me and a buddy went to see it in the theater, and we there was an awkward moment there where Borat and his buddy, I think, are both naked and wrestling.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit awkward, a little bit broke back there.
Yeah, but man, when he comes downstairs with that bag of shit in his hand, it's just too fucking funny. Oh my God, that's hilarious, man. He's crazy.
He did his Bruno character. This is before I never saw the Bruno movie, but he did his Bruno character on the Ali G show.
Ali G show, yeah.
And there was an episode where he was got on the sideline at an Alabama football game and was with the cheerleaders, cheering. And you got all these fans, screaming at him to get off the field.
Oh man. The ultimate troll.
Yep.
Sacha Baron Cohen. Oh my God. Yeah, I tell you what, man, I don't go see many comedies anymore because they're all fart jokes and shit. They're just not good. Danny keeps up with a lot more comedy than I do. He was hooked on a show called Reno 911.
That was great.
That was pretty damn funny. And I've started watching some of it, but there's a guy that has a show here on YouTube on Thursday nights. What is that dude's name? Daniel. He was on that show as a serial killer.
I can't remember his name, dude.
On
He's
Dexter?
fun.
No,
He was on
no.
Reno 911. He was the serial killer. He married the female deputy. What's his name, Joe John?
Is it Kyle Dunnigan?
That's him.
Yeah,
Okay,
Kyle Dunnigan.
Yeah.
If you haven't watched him lately, man, he's gotten a hold of these filters, you know, and he's a good impressionist anyway. These facial filters make you look like different people. Oh man, he does a Sylvester Stallone that is just too damn funny.
Seems like maybe he's on the road or something. I haven't seen it because I used to get indications every time he had a new video out.
There was a lull there for a little bit, but he put some stuff out last Thursday. Yeah, it was a Halloween special or something like that. He did,
and he'll go after anybody.
Yeah, he doesn't care. It's great.
I'm a big fan of Archer. I'm a big fan of Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Those types of that type of humor. That's it's sensitive, not delicate. That's for sure, man.
Is he the one doing the Joe Biden?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Then I know who he is. Then yeah, he's hilarious.
He does a fantastic Joe Biden. That go look up what was the name of that? It's a take on the Prince of Bel-Air. He does this thing with it.
Yeah.
It's so fucking funny.
I saw it. It's
his
hilarious.
housekeeper's like the guy from the Daily Wire, Ben Shapiro.
Yeah.
It's fucking hilarious, man. That guy is awesome.
Yeah.
But he usually does a half-hour show on Thursdays. If you don't watch him, man, that's what cracks me up these days. Is that dude. Of course, I used to watch South Park, but I don't watch it anymore. I don't have time to sit down and watch that anymore. But as far as funny movies go, I don't remember seeing a funny movie in a long time that I enjoyed. I think the last one that I enjoyed was probably The Hangover, I would imagine.
Yeah, I'm just not a real big comedy person.
Yeah. Well,
Hangover 2 and 3 were not as good as the first one.
Yeah, but that first one was great. I loved watching Mike Tyson knock that guy out doing it in the air tonight. It was hilarious. But you know, it seems it's kind of like the horror movies we discussed. You know, it's all jump scares and stuff. It's not real horror. You know,
it's hard to have a really good comedic movie. It's difficult.
Yeah, it's one of. Let's see. Dork Knight says Cock Blockers was funny. Oh man, I don't know that I've seen that movie, but the title alone sounds pretty damn funny. Sounds like something to get you beat up. But I tell you, my favorite comedies though. Well, Danny and I must have seen Smokey and the Bandit about 100 times when we were kids. It was one of the first movies we got on VHS when we were kids, and we wore that show out.
I've always been a big Mel Brooks fan.
Yeah,
Mel Brooks
is awesome.
Yep.
Yes,
and he hits on all those sensitive topics, and he puts it right out front, man.
Yeah,
you know,
it's good to be the king. You know, it's good to be the king. Yeah. I'll tell you, Kevin Smith, as much as I don't like him these days and what he does, that Dogma movie is one of the funniest movies I've ever seen in my life. That was just comedic gold. And to think that guy is the same guy that made that piece of shit that came out afterwards. What the hell was the name of that movie? Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. God, that movie was horrible. That was so bad. And it was the same guys. I was like,
I've always felt Kevin Smith is way overrated.
Yeah. Yeah, but look, John, if you've never seen Dogma.
I have.
Oh
I mean, I've seen, like Clerks and Chasing Amy and you know, it doesn't mean that I'm a real big, huge fan of his. I've just seen his movies, and Dogma's
he's been
probably
surrounded
my
by
favorite.
Pretty talented people too.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, when you got George Carlin doing cameos in your movies,
right, dude, the Buddy Christ, is that not one of the funniest things ever?
Yeah,
doesn't it pop? I mean, dude, yeah, George Carlin, you know. He actually worked at our local radio station in the 60s. Keel Radio here in Shreveport. Cool. Yeah, he did.
Awesome.
My favorite quote,
DJing days.
or one of my favorite quotes from him is, it's just basically something to the effect of it's a big club and you ain't in it.
Yeah, it's a big club and you ain't in it. That's it, man. You watch his stand up, it's very yeah, you might wonder how he lived as long as he did. Because he didn't shy away from controversial shit either.
I got to see him when I was 17.
Yeah.
So that was
come on in here, Knock.
Experience.
How are you, brother?
Yep.
But you saw him when you were 16?
17 in Las Vegas.
Okay.
Yep.
Man,
it was
the guy, he was phenomenal. I mean, the 7 dirty words you can't say on television is one of the greatest bits ever done. Really is. It's a classic. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. Comedians aspire to be that good. The guys I like today, I love Joe Rogan. I think he's funny, and I do like his podcast. I catch it when I can, whenever he's got somebody on I'm interested in. I like Bill Burr because he's from the same part of the country our father's from. He's from Boston, Massachusetts. And so I enjoy him.
I wish Carlin would have lived long enough to have been on Rogan.
Yeah,
that would have been a good
That
interview.
would have been great, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, that would have been fantastic to see Rogan pick his brain about comedy, man. Oof. Another one I'd love to have seen him with is Robin Williams. I mean, that guy was freakishly. Some guys are just naturally talented, How you doing today, Knock? It's good to see you, man. Thanks for stopping by. I know you got a long commute during the week when you're working, so.
No, it's all good. Speaking of the Robin Williams, one of my favorite times I saw him was when he was on Whose Line Is It Anyways? He did a guest spot on that.
Oh my God, he was on that show? I don't think I ever saw that.
Phenomenal on that thing.
It was great. You can look up clips of it for sure, and he did a guest spot on it.
Oh
and
my God, that
was
must have been
perfect.
A
it was
riot,
a perfect
dude.
spot. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah. I imagine.
I like the stand up he did right after 9/11.
Mm-hmm.
That I forgot what it was called now, but it was.
You're talking about Robin Williams now?
Yeah.
Okay. It's probably
not
live
George
at
Carlin.
the Met.
That's
probably
it.
live at the Met.
That's it.
And that was a good show. That was a fantastic show.
I want to say Carlin had some sort of special that was supposed to come out like right after 9/11 or right around it.
Mm-hmm.
Where they had to change something with it. I'd have to look it up to know, or there was some joke in it where he talked about a lot of people dying, or there was something that just was not, I guess, deemed appropriate for the time.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was a coincidence type of thing.
Yeah. Well, there's no telling. These guys get into subject. I mean, all the way back to Lenny Bruce. Lenny Bruce got arrested several times on stage, for some of the stuff he was saying back in the day. So these guys don't shy away from it. And the thing that's universal about comedy, guys, the funniest guys are telling the truth. That's why it's funny, and
exactly
when you do that, you can get your ass in some boiling hot water. Knock, I was told I had to show you this, okay, to make sure that you were going to cover this Sunday, okay? This is Danny's favorite graphic for this week in the season of college football.
Is this LSU and
it's the war,
Alabama?
Dude. It's the Tide and the Tiger,
oh,
yes.
Gosh.
Yes.
If it's a good game, I'll cover it. If it's a blowout, I'm not going to cover it. That's how we roll. I'll mention it, but there won't be. And if there's a really good play in there, I might show a highlight. But I don't.
Now
what
we highlighted this week for one game. What was it? Georgia and somebody? Who's Georgia playing? Who was it?
This week is Tennessee. It's number 1 Tennessee and number 3 Georgia. They just did the college playoff rankings. And Tennessee is number 1, or at least this week.
They moved him up to number. They moved them up to number 1
for the college playoff ranking. Yeah, it's the first. It's the first of.
Guess who snuck in number 10, bro?
No way. Are you serious?
I mean, there's only 4 that matters. There's only 4 that matters.
Quality wins for them LSU Tigers, man. On the rise.
You gotta hope all 9 in front of them falter, and a couple.
But
of them will have some losses for sure.
You got to admit that is a great picture. That is
Oh, yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
That is an awesome
That's
picture.
the,
He
that's
sends
the
that to me
picture I
every
put up
year when
every
this
year
game
this
comes out.
time of year.
No,
whether
I'll
it's-
be watching that game for sure. It's definitely at least the start of it. Like I said, if it turns into a blowout, I'm going to turn it off, and I don't waste my time with blowouts.
I don't think it's going to be.
No, it may not be. It could be a great game, and of course, but the game that really matters is Tennessee. Sorry, but the game that matters is Tennessee and Georgia.
Yeah,
and that's at 3:30.
Yeah,
but
that's
I'll
gonna be
get
a
to
big
see
one.
both because the LSU game's later on at 7:00. So
They usually play at night when they play Bama.
Yeah, they're gonna have the two Titans playing in prime time.
maybe
that's the game.
Maybe the mini Titans, but okay.
That's the game. Nobody gives a shit about Georgia and the Vols.
Oh yeah, nobody cares.
No secret why LSU and Alabama are playing.
Nobody outside of that house cares.
Now, where are they playing the game at, Dan? Is it in Death Valley?
Yeah.
Death Valley.
Oh, okay. Didn't Florida go in there and beat them in Death Valley?
Nope.
No.
Not this year.
Not this year.
Not this year. Okay.
Yeah.
Even a blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while.
Yeah.
They get Alabama this year. I believe that.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Well, Alabama's pretty vulnerable. They could. I mean, Bryce Young is really good. He gets out of some really.
There's a lot of parity across
artist,
the SEC. It's just tough conference to survive, man. They play each other. And, it's tough to get through that schedule, no matter who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Alabama's two plays away from
and then you have the
being
championship
5-3.
game. So.
What was that, Matt?
Oh, Alabama's 2 plays away from being 5-3 right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's ridiculous. Yeah.
I had speaking of college football, I had an interesting experience Monday. So I'm driving along on the road. I was kind of out in the middle of nowhere. All of a sudden, get a flat tire. Got to pull over the side of the road.
Yeah.
As I put my car in park and get ready to get out to change the tire, I see where I've got several texts that just came in, and it was the whole buddies of mine talking about Brian Harsin getting fired from Auburn.
Yeah.
And as I'm sitting there about to have to
that story.
Get out and change a tire on the side of a road, I thought, well, it ain't all bad.
Right. Yeah.
So we were all ready to see him go.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
I'm sure him and his millions of dollars that he's still going to get paid is very
sad.
$15
million.
Very sad.
So what?
He's like Matt Rule from the Panthers. He'll be good.
So what was the biggest trade yesterday at the deadline? I saw there were several.
Man. So the Broncos traded Bradley Chubb for a first rounder. We also got Chase Edmonds and a couple different picks. I think like a 4th and a 5th swap as well.
Right.
Then we traded the Dolphins for Chase Edmonds, and then there was Claypool for the Steelers.
Yeah. What was
Bears.
the Steelers doing there?
He went to the Bears. Yep.
I didn't understand that one at all.
Yeah,
they must have got some good picks for him.
I think they got a 2nd rounder.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken. So that was a big one. Of course, TJ Hawkinson from the Lions. He's on the Vikings now. So we'll see. He's on my fantasy team, so I have high hopes for that one.
Yes, I hear you.
So we'll see with that one. And then I'm trying to think of like I said, Bradley Chubb from the Broncos, and then
you guys see why he's my co-host on the NFL party? This guy keeps up with all of it, man.
It wasn't too great. I mean, the best trade of all this so far was definitely the Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah. And that was well before the deadline.
Yeah, with that trifecta.
Oh, it's fucking instant results too. Pissed me off. That punk. Wow. He throws for, I don't know if you guys saw it or not, but he threw a touchdown pass, caught a touchdown pass, and ran for a touchdown in the game against the world champs.
And I thought Garoppolo overthrew him on that wheel route that he caught.
He got up. That little short bastard got up for that thing. Yeah, he did.
It was crazy.
It was crazy.
Well,
but
we did beat McCaffrey in his first appearance with the 49ers, so we'll just leave it at that.
His first week?
Yeah,
his first week.
There you go. Well, with a week under his belt, they used him.
Right there.
No doubt, man. That's freaking
hey, he wanted to play,
Yeah. Dork Knight says, you guys are losing me with the football talk, laugh out loud. Well, let me tell you something, Dork Knight. If you'd have been here earlier, you'd have heard all the wrestling talk you wanted to hear.
I could switch to Star Wars. I could do that.
Right? You can switch to Star Wars.
We picked up Tony from was it the Giants?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So that'll give us some more speed in the secondary. Tony.
Cameron Tony. Yep.
Who's your team?
Giants.
The Chiefs.
That's from the
The
Giants.
Chiefs. Okay, that's right. That's right. You've told me that before. Yeah. Well, you guys don't need much
Because
help,
you guys needed a wide receiver.
right? Like you needed another one of them.
Like really,
Damn.
embarrassment of riches at this point.
I mean, the more I'm seeing it, guys, the more it looks like it's going to be Buffalo and the Chiefs again. Maybe the Bengals will get in there. That's my pick at the beginning of the year. I thought it was going to be a repeat Super Bowl, and it's been totally blown out of the water, man. The Rams.
Mine's still 49ers and Bills.
Yeah, and that could happen.
Good,
no doubt.
But
I think the
it's going
Bengals
to be a
can still get
rematch
back.
of an old Super Bowl. I think it's going to be the Chiefs and the Vikings in the Super Bowl again.
Oh wow!
Vikings are very quietly putting together a really solid year in that division that they're in.
The problem is who they played.
Have.
It's the problem of who they played. The only game they've really played against the winning team was the Eagles, and they got trounced. So,
well, you got to play the skill that's in front of you. Once you get into the mix, anything can happen. A Giants fan
when you play a good team, and you lose, then
the Eagles have been
look
fire,
at Pittsburgh a couple years ago, 11-0, and then they started playing some actual teams
and boy, they failed.
Look at those Giants teams that beat Belichick Patriots. One of them, they were a wild card team.
They were a wild card team.
That's when the Patriots were going for their perfect season.
Sure.
Yep.
I mean, as long as you make the dance, anything can happen.
But and that's what I'm hoping for with the Dolphins. That's that team. Oh my goodness, Hill and Waddle, and then now they got Bradley Chubb on defense. That's coupled with the couple guys they have there.
You know what the question mark is there though? Is Tua going to be on 2 feet by the time the playoffs get here?
If he just stops taking hits, the idiot.
Well, that's the same question about McCaffrey, right? He's a high value player, right? But he plays like 3 games in a row and then he's on the IR again.
Well, the cool thing about McCaffrey though is they don't have to play him every single down.
That's a fact. He's part of a stable now. They don't have to do that with him there.
Well, that's all they had. That's all they had for the Panthers. So
Miami paid all that money for Hill. Miami paid all that money for Hill when they should have been spending on an O-line.
Yeah, no doubt.
Well, I mean, look at the hit that Tua took, the one that knocked him out for a couple of weeks. He held the ball on a play action, on a rollout, and he held the ball. And then he got slammed to the ground. Like, you can't put that on the O-lineman if he's going to keep the ball forever, which he doesn't have to. He's getting better with these wide receivers, and God knows, you give them 2 yards, and they're gone. So
you're right. He's young, and he does need to learn when to give up and eat the ball. You've got to do that if you're going to survive. No doubt about it.
I don't think that's the biggest thing. Don't take the hits. That's it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just happy Miami got Hill, even though it would have been nice to keep him, but we didn't really need him.
And that's been proven. Yeah.
That's because
awesome.
Yeah, but that's because I got Waddle on my fantasy team. So the more they double cover Hill, the more he gets.
Oh, don't worry, Dork. We're fixing to wrap it up anyway. I'm about to turn into a pumpkin. We got about 7 minutes left. Let's see. Well, if you guys are going to keep talking fixed sports like football instead of wrestling, guess I'm gonna have to dip out, laugh out loud. Scripted, not fake, scripted. But anyway, guys, I want to thank you all for showing up tonight. I want to show you guys what I'm working on right now. Let me see if I can get this up here. I should be able to show it the WhatsApp, huh, Dan? Yep. Should be able to play it. Let's see. Doesn't need any sound anyway. What I'm working on right now is the front of the comic book store. That is the taped off area where the sign is going to go. And last night I primered the window, and let's see if it'll show. Yeah. Let's see if I can make it a little bigger here. Yeah. That's my projector. And that's what the sign's going to look like. It's going to say Excalibur Comics, Cards, and Games. I got to go up there tonight after I'm done with the show. And after I eat, I got to go up there and do the outline of it and everything. And basically lay down the white tonight. Yeah.
That's going to be really nice.
The thing I was struggling with was I just wanted to do the white around the letters instead of painting the whole block white. But it looks like I'm going to have to go with the whole block. And what I can do, luckily it's on glass. I can take my X-Acto knife and go around these letters if I need to, and then just peel off the excess is what I can do.
Is that in Shreveport?
Yes. Yeah. It's the only game in town when it comes to comic books. He put everybody else out of business because he's really good at what he does. If you come to our Comic-Con here, you'll find him right up front. He has a grandfathered, because he's been in business forever here. And he's got the biggest island at the Comic-Con. You can't miss Excalibur comics, cards, and games. And mutual friend of me and Danny's that I grew up with, known since we were knee-high to a grasshopper, as they say, fella named Mark. He works there. He works for Chris, the owner. And yeah, it's just I'm just really glad I'm able to do it for him. Of course, I'm getting paid for it. You know, Chris knows I'm going into business for myself. And I told him, I said, look, man, we'll do it in store credit or something, but I won't rape you, you know. But when you guys all know I'm working on a comic book.
Yeah.
He's already said, when you get it done, if you want to have a signing party, come here. We'll do it. You know,
nice.
Charge you anything. And so, yeah, that's why I'm saying I'm not gonna kill him on the price or anything. But that's my current project, what I'm working on right there. But listen, I want to give you guys a chance to promote your wares. Now, I know a couple of you aren't YouTubers, but Danny, my bro, I'm going to give you a second to let everybody know what's going on with our show. You think you want to do that?
No, man, you go ahead and handle that business, okay?
Are you sure? Hang on one second.
I'm
I
totally
just got to
sure.
blow you up and show off the goat, dude, and the hat. You got to tell him about the hat at least.
He's got a problem with the background, though. It's a little weird.
The Boston Scally, man. These are the best hats made, dude. Get yourself one. Boston Scally. I'm not getting paid for that at all. Love these hats.
I don't think he meant your actual wares.
Peaky Blinders.
And one more thing, Dan, you got to show us the axe, bro. Just like you do on the show.
Right?
Yeah.
This is the one I used last episode. It's a beauty. It's a rock machine for real.
There you go. And by the way, if you guys didn't know, that is him playing the tunes. Anytime you hear a guitar riff at the end of my beginning of my videos and stuff, that's him. So, all right, Martin, tell us what's up with you, man.
Well, I just like to invite you to our morning stream shows and Pop Culture Minefield. What time is it? Because I've been changing.
10 Central. 10 Central is when you guys get started.
Yeah. I'm a little off base because I'm on another location and my time changed because the season and I'm a little lost like that. But yeah, you should go tomorrow. We're gonna make a review of the entire season of the House of the Dragon.
Oh yeah, tomorrow's House of the Dragon show. Okay, cool. Yep. 10 o'clock a.m. Central Time, 11 o'clock Eastern. For sure, man. I want to thank you for coming, dude. Really had fun hanging out with you the last couple of days.
Oh, man. Thank you for inviting us.
No problem. No problem at all. All right, Noxter. Tell him what's up, dude.
Oh, I do the Sunday morning, 11 a.m. Eastern with Pry. We start out with about 15, 20 minutes of college football, and then we go into our NFL pick'ems for the week. So we do that every weekend on Sundays. So a lot of good highlights that we show, and then we discuss who we think is going to win for that Sunday. And we discuss some of the previous games from usually Monday or Thursday. So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing every week for the rest of the season.
All right. Yeah. And like I said, guys, you heard him earlier that nobody more knows more about what's going on in the world of football than that guy right there.
And I'll stop by on the occasional Wednesday to hijack the conversation into either football or
to drag it to football or Star Wars. He will do that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Matt has seen that firsthand, haven't you, Matt?
Yep.
Tell him what's up with you, man.
Yeah, nothing to promote. Just glad to be on here to see you get to 200 subs. I did want to share one thing. This past weekend, I did go to the Geeks and Gamers con down there in Orlando. I say con. It was a meetup.
Yes.
And it was awesome. I got to meet a lot of people that, of streams that I've watched over the past few years. And, everyone that I got to talk to was very down to earth, very personable. Nobody seemed to have an ego that was out of control or anything. It was a great experience, and if they ever have one of those meetups that are within driving distance of wherever you are, then I would encourage anybody to go if they can, for sure. Especially if it's a reasonable distance. I know it can be hard if it's half the country away or that
Right.
kind of thing. But if it's
No.
reasonable cost wise, it's something to look into.
Gotcha. Okay. Thanks
Yeah,
a lot, Matt. I appreciate you being here, buddy.
Thank you.
I consider anything within 10 or 12 hours driving distance. So
Yeah, I hear you, man. Well, 10 hours is about my limit, John. Tell us what's up with you, man.
Well, you can find me on my YouTube channel at RealDasWolfen at youtube.com/@RealDasWolfen, because somebody has my actual Das Wolfen title, but that's neither here nor there. I stream on every Tuesday at 4 Central, and I look to be doing some other random streams throughout the weeks here coming up. I'm also on Pop Culture Minefield. I'm usually there every day for all their shows, but on Fridays I'm taking over as the host for the Morning Coffee with John on Friday mornings at 10 Central.
Okay, man. All right.
Great.
I appreciate you. All right, man. Well, listen, guys, I want to thank you all for coming. I appreciate you. And it's been fun getting up to 200. It happened a lot faster than I thought. And from what I understand, it starts to avalanche after a while. So hopefully I'll keep gaining momentum. Yep. What are you putting your hands up about? Are you muted? Unmute yourself, sir. You have muted yourself. You did something. We can't hear you. You guys hear him?
Nope.
Hang on.
Nope.
Let's see.
Nope.
How about now? Nope. Something's going on, dude. I'm sorry, man.
Unplug your headset. Plug it back
My
in.
money's on something that Jojon did.
He must be talking about the Broncos offense.
Is that what he's talking about? Is that why we can't hear him?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
I did nothing. You put me back into small screen, and then I don't know.
Who knows, man? I can tell you this though: Google Chrome works best with StreamYard, so that could be
what I'm using.
A glitch in it. Okay, all right.
No, I was saying Nexus 300.
Yes,
and then make sure
absolutely.
when we get to 300, you got to have something from the Gerard Butler 300.
Of course. This is Spartacus, baby. We got to kick somebody down the well, right?
Yeah,
Damn
exactly.
Straight.
So kick 200, like have a post of like 200 and kick it down into the well.
Right. We're going to have to do something like
maybe
that.
Kathleen Kennedy, Gary Kurtzman. Yeah.
Oh, man. Just all of them, one after another. That's what I'll do.
Victoria Alonso.
Perfect. You guys come up with the list, and I'll just do a separate video. I'll use Reface, and it'll be that person every time. There we go. That's awesome. All right, let me let you guys know what's going on with the channel. Of course, you're watching the 200 celebration. I want to thank you guys all for making it possible, and I hope that you'll continue to watch. And, of course, tomorrow night, you get to see Highlander again. He'll be I got to change that graphic too on this thing because Danny hates that picture because he's all whited out.
Just blurred. Yeah. Everybody's clear and I'm just blurred.
But that's okay. He and I hacked the Matrix tomorrow night. He and I hacked the Matrix tomorrow night. It's a fast-paced, headline-driven show where we talk about the clown world that it was the last week in 2022. And then, of course, on Saturday afternoons, you can watch me create my comic book. I'm 2 pages away from being done with plotting the first issue of that. Looking forward to getting into the detail work. Springtime is when it's going to come out, and I'm right on schedule with it. So look forward to that. That's 1:30 in the afternoon Central. And then, of course, Knock and I get together for the pregame party every Sunday, 2 hours before kickoff of the early games at 10 Central, 11 Eastern. And I'm going to make it a priority to keep doing Papa Joe Gamer Up Way Too Late. And if you guys don't know this, my brother loves that picture of me because I'm just disgusted in it because I'm screwing something up in a video game. He thinks it's great. But anyway, it's video games, cocktails, and fails. I'll probably be playing DC Universe this weekend because I haven't been able. I've only done the solo on that so far, Knock. That's all I've done. So I'm probably going to play a little bit of that. I want to get into some Force Awakens, or not Force Awakens, but Force Unleashed. I love that game.
Oh yeah.
And if you guys have never seen it, I'm probably going to start a walkthrough on that. I was doing a walkthrough on Fable 3, but that's going to take too long, man. I think I'm going to go ahead and start the Force Unleashed this weekend. But I do that after the last game goes off, 10 o'clock Central, and I do it for about 3 hours, and I change games about every hour to keep you from getting bored. And, of course, you can always see me here every Wednesday, same time as we're on now, 5:30 Central, 6:30 Eastern for State of the Atmosphere. And it's just same thing you just saw, just me and my friends hanging out and shooting the shit. That's all there is to it. I come in with a couple of, ideas for the show, but I guess the most detailed ones we did was you and me, Matt, doing the Halloween two-parter the last couple of weeks. Yeah. Das Wolfen was on for the second part of it. That was a lot of fun. I put a lot of work into those, but I dig Halloween though. My brother will tell you, there's a famous old picture of us. He's in a Planet of the Apes store-bought outfit, and I created a Sandman look from Logan's Run. I put the white stripe across the turtleneck, and I made the gun and everything. I used to make all kinds of shit back then. I remember one year, didn't I do the Empire State Building and give you a King Kong?
King Kong on the Empire State Building. You made me that for Christmas.
Yeah, I think I made the Empire State Building out of paper mache or something like that. But I've always been a creator. So listen, guys, I want to thank you again for being here. It's been a lot of fun, and I hope that we continue this ride together and have a good time. As long as you keep an open mind and keep the conversation without labels, I'll be hanging out with you. You know what I'm saying? Let's talk about the truth, and until I see you guys next time, I want you to keep on keeping on. God bless, fellas.